Well, it would appear that we are all here. Oh, okay, not here, but here. And just a matter of housekeeping, for those of you who might need to use the washroom, you know where it is. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jeff Coleman. As the chair of the Board of Directors of the Grace Hospital Foundation, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the virtual Grace Gala. Naturally, we would have preferred to see all of you in person so that we could share a special evening together. But of course, that just isn't possible. The health and safety of all of you is our paramount concern. We know the strength and resilience of Manitobans, and while COVID-19 numbers are trending upward at the moment, we are confident that together we will weather this storm, and we will soon be able to get together. Another thing about Manitobans is our kindness and our generosity. This event was a virtual sellout well before COVID hit. In fact, we sold almost 400 tickets in January, February, and early March of this year before COVID came crashing into our lives. When we made the decision to formally cancel the in-person portion of this event in late August, we reached out to our sponsors and ticket buyers and asked them if we could keep their ticket purchases as a donation. I am proud to say that almost everyone agreed, a true testament to the generous nature of Manitobans. I hope many of you have your virtual gala packages in front of you. In it, you will find a wealth of information, and you will also find a COVID prevention kit, including a mask, hand sanitizer, and some hand wipes. Please use them in good health. The purpose of the Grace Gala is twofold. First, it is to raise much-needed funds to support and enhance patient care at the Grace Hospital. All proceeds from this year's gala will be used to support the Foundation's $3 million commitment for the redevelopment of the Diagnostic Imaging Department. Please refer to the Embrace Our Grace Capital Campaign brochure for more details. The other very significant purpose of the gala is to honor this year's Pearl McGonigal Award recipient for a lifetime of achievement. This year, our honoree is Mr. Bob Cunningham. Once again, please refer to the virtual gala event program for more details. All proceeds from the 2020 Grace Gala will go in Bob's name to the Capital Campaign. And by the way, it's never too late to give. Simply click on the Donate Now button below this video to make an online gift tonight. For those of you who received your virtual gala kit, there is an envelope included if you would like to send in a gift for Bob and the campaign via regular mail. You might also use that opportunity to include a special note of congratulations to Bob. And now, without any further ado, I would like to share this video with you of our dear friend, Bob Cunningham.
I would describe Bob in one word, and that's gentleman.
Very community-minded individual.
Bob gets things done.
I would describe Bob Cunningham as a dynamic force.
The way I feel about him, he's a man for all seasons.
First and foremost, he's a salesman.
Bob is a worthy, wonderful, and successful individual.
He's such a kind, generous man. It makes you want to be a better person.
He believes in the art of the possible, the art of the doable.
Well, I was born in Clandeboye in 1939. We had moved into the town of Clandeboye. The main reason was my father was involved in a very serious accident when I was 4. He accidentally ran over me with the back wheel of the farm tractor. It affected his life forever. We were 10 miles from the closest hospital. How they got me to the hospital, I'll never know, because we didn't have paramedics and ambulances like we do today. The skilled hands of a doctor and support staff saved my life. My first job was working in the local garage. I was 10 years old, and I was hired to sweep the floors and hang up the tools and just generally clean around there, and I got paid 50 cents a week. I continued on in the local grocery store and the elevator and delivering papers and working on farms. It was July the 7th. My father took me aside and said, "Son," he said, "you have to go to the city and get a job, send some money home to support the family." Before I left home, my dad said to me, he said, I want you to understand 2 things. I want you to be kind to people, and I want you to leave this world a better place than you found it when your time comes. So I've never forgotten that.
Volunteerism and community activism has changed a lot over the years. At one time, I think people were just expected to be involved in the community. Times have changed, but I think if someone looks to Bob Cunningham as an example and is prepared to give back to the community, the rewards are tremendous.
I think he sees the value of it. I think he sees the value of when you go after a cause or a challenge. He just sees the end. He sees the end not easily, but how to get there, how to lead it, how to work with people, whether it be fundraising or anything else for that matter. I really believe he sees the value of being community-minded.
He understands that to be a successful businessman, you got to be involved in the community. And I don't mean that it's profit motivated to be involved in charities. That's not the point. It's just that he understands what it's like to be a significant part of a community, not just in a business sense, but in another sense, the fundraising sense. And the fact that he's good at it makes it even a greater advantage.
I believe it was 30 years ago that I met Bob Cunningham. And the circumstances were he was part of the team that helped me get elected as mayor. Not once, but twice. And I'm not so sure that people understand how many people the mayor has to go to ask for help to make our city so successful and such a great place. And Bob Cunningham, every time I would go to see him or phone him up and say, Bob, I need your help, his answer was, what can I do to help?
People have asked me why I'm involved in the community as much as I am, and in particular with capital campaigns. I find that people in Manitoba for sure, but I've found people in general are generous, and I'm not one to push for large money. There are times when you need larger contributions, but I find that no gift is too small. Well, I guess if you go back to when I was a child and the accident that happened, I mean, I shouldn't be here. But and even being here, I could have been crippled. But I do feel blessed. I really do.
Bob is a good example of what a citizen should do. That if when you are able to give of your time for these different organizations, you learn a great deal, you develop, you meet a lot of wonderful people, and it's just a way of life to be involved. There are just so many organizations that wouldn't function if they didn't have extra funds. And so to keep the wheel going in our city, that's the way to do it, is give of your time, give of your finance, whatever, but give.
When Bob puts his hand to something, I don't think failure is an option. It doesn't very often take no for an answer. And there are an awful lot of people in the fundraising business who are tentative. Asking people for money is not, it's not the easiest thing to do.
He's very community oriented. And so he knows a lot of people, so that helps. But a lot of people know a lot of people and are not good fundraisers, okay? I remember once he told me, I said, Bob, when you do fundraising, you get lots of no's. And how do you go home at night and sleep with all these no's? Is Jerry, you have to understand, no is only one step on the way to yes. And the more no's you get, the closer you are to being yes. Well, see, to me, no means go home and forget about it. So that's the difference in our personalities. So he knows a lot of people, he's good at it. But something else, and a lot of people don't think about this, when you're a guy like Bob, and you do a lot of asks, you get asked back. All right, that's it's kind of the problem if you like being a fundraiser. You don't get off scot-free. You're going to get asked for money yourself. And Bob always reciprocates. That's what makes it work. So he's known as a generous guy for obvious reason, but he's just very good at getting people to say yes.
He's got a very soft approach, but he often says to me that no actually means maybe. So that's his approach to that. I think it comes down to the fact that he cares about the cause. My experience with our capital campaign, what I've learned is you have to believe in the cause. You have to want the organization to do more in the community. And Bob is one of those people that when he agrees to serve, he does so because he's passionate about the cause and knows that the fundraising effort is needed. And he gives it his 110%, and he's very effective because of that. But I think it comes down to believing in the cause.
He wants the best for people in every area of life. So if he sees an opportunity to help, I think that's where it comes from, is wanting to see people grow and succeed and be happy.
Bob has told me on a number of occasions that he comes from very humble beginnings. I think he recognized from a young age that there's no free lunch, that you have to work hard for everything you get in life. I think regardless of what your financial means are or what wealth you've accumulated, it's not going to buy you, manners or common sense or loyalty or respect or integrity or love and support of family and friends. And I think Bob really recognized that from a very early age. And so he's never really lost touch with what was important in life.
It was the middle of winter, and he was donating hundreds of brand new winter jackets to those in need. I thought, my God, what a wonderful story. And I felt so privileged or honored to know him, because I just met him a couple months ago. So I felt compelled to give him a call, and she took my message. And when she asked me who I was, I didn't know how to introduce myself. So for lack of a better description, I just said to her that I was his niece, Maggie. I later got a call back, and he goes, "Maggie, is your Uncle Bob calling?"
Well, we've had a pretty successful run. Been in business 56 years, and to have my children working in the business. My son Rob is president. My daughter Bonnie worked in the business. My wife Irene, she worked in the business after the children were in school. So being able to work with family is important. At one time we had the office furniture business, which we talked about, and at the same time we had a liquidation business, buying and selling anything and everything. We had a lumber yard called Totem Lumber. And I got involved in real estate. The real estate was interesting. We started buying buildings and filling them with tenants. And I used to own the Winnipeg roller rink as one, which not too many people know about.
I unloaded a lot of trailers of different stuff, whether it was a trailer load of canned beans or trailer load of insulation. I was driving a forklift when I was 9 years old, unloading lumber in our lumber yard, lots of different things.
To receive an award for something that you do willingly in the community is sometimes difficult to understand. And yet my wife Irene and I have attended many dinners honoring people, and we've always been there to support them and shake their hand and give them a hug and thank them. I guess it's my turn, and I wasn't expecting it.
The most asked question that I get in my life is, how's your dad? Which is pretty cool. He's got a lot of friends in the community, and our family are very proud of him. It's been fun to be part of his life. When people are interested in someone, you know that he's well liked and well respected.
To receive the Pearl McGonigal Life Achievement Award from the Grace Hospital is very special. Oh, it just makes me feel so humble. Yeah, it makes me feel very humble to receive the award.
No one will ever be quite like him. He's a unique individual. He is really an outstanding candidate for us. He's a strong supporter of Grace Hospital. Are you a fan? Yes, I am. I'm the president of the fan club.
Bob is an inspiring figure and without doubt one of Grace Hospital's truest friends. I would also like to acknowledge some other friends who have sponsored this event. Food Fair, All Seniors Care, Birchwood Automotive Group, PI Financial, Cunningham Business Interiors, Manitoba Liquor Marts, Wamanisa Insurance, and the Winnipeg Free Press. Thank you to our sponsors for this evening's event. As I'm sure you can appreciate, planning in real life for a Gala event is a huge undertaking. In COVID times, it has been a monumental task, and I would like to thank our Grace Gala Committee for all of their hard work and planning during these uncertain times. Bruce Lilly and Empo Began as co-chairs, Mr. Barry Brown, Mr. Keith Davidson, Mr. Kevin Dandowich, Ms. Gail Swirsky, Mr. Jim McDermott, Colonel David Proto, and Mr. Jason Patterson. You have done a simply outstanding job this year. As you may know, Grace Hospital has been on the vanguard of Manitoba's COVID-19 response. We continue to treat COVID-19 patients and will continue to do so. This spring, we initiated the Grace Hospital Foundation COVID-19 Fund to help the hospital however we could. As usual, this incredible community came together and helped us raise more than $200,000 for that effort. Please watch the next little video.
We were absolutely blown away by the community support we had, recognizing that we're one of the 3 acute hospitals and that our staff and leadership were going through a really, really unusual, unprecedented times, and in many cases putting themselves at risk to care, and they're doing that willingly.
I mean, imagine putting a mask and a face shield and PPE on every day, 12 hours a day, shift in, shift out. I mean, our staff are just unbelievable.
It's hard for me to talk about the staff without getting emotional. They have really done an outstanding job at great personal cost during this time. We don't hear them complaining. They're coming to work wholeheartedly, willing to do what they need to do to care for the people that are in our care.
There is never a question about supporting initiatives that the hospital comes forward with. I mean, we have such a tremendous relationship with Kelly and her senior management team. And when they present us with a need, we never really sort of go, yeah, no, we don't like that. We're on board.
The Grace Hospital Foundation is an outstanding partner. They were with us all the way through this, from the foundation staff, who were some of the people that helped us out the most with the hard stop screening area, to establishing the COVID-19 fund.
But I think it's important to note that without too much effort, really, the community of Winnipeg stepped up big time and gave almost $200,000 to the foundation through initiatives that we undertook to make sure that patients who were at the Grace, who were having no access to family, who had no access to visitors, we turned on TVs in every room and paid for it. We turned on telephones in every room. We have previously, as a foundation, made sure that Wi-Fi was available throughout the hospital. And because we were able to have Wi-Fi, we invested in 50 iPads that family members could communicate with patients who were resident here in the Grace Hospital in a time when there were no face-to-face visits.
For all of us, one of the most challenging things during this time was the fact in the first several months that we could not have family visitors in. We then needed to step up even more to be the family and to be the visitors. We know we can't replace them, but we knew that we had to do the best we could. It was morally distressing for all of us during that time. We know that if the numbers continue to trend upward, that this unit may well be needed. And we're ready to enact it at a moment's notice.
You know, sometimes it's something simple, but being able to talk to a family member over a FaceTime when nothing else is available, or having an ice cream sandwich for a staff member. I mean, we bought, and I think we're continuing to buy our staff members coffee, tea, and beverages almost on a weekly basis out of the COVID fund, because our staff are going over and above. I don't know what's in the future. Let's hope the numbers don't spike too badly. We want this to get under control, but effectively we'll do what we need to do to be support to the hospital. So that's the only reason we exist as a foundation. Diagnostic imaging is the cornerstone of care. In order to treat someone, you need to first diagnose what's wrong. Our patient volumes at Grace Hospital have skyrocketed since clinical consolidation. For example, our emergency department, which would annually see in the neighborhood of 30,000 patients, is now seeing in the area of 45,000 patients each year. Our surgical volumes have also increased dramatically. With those increases, we need more diagnostic testing capacity and new forms of technology and diagnostic testing. Again, please watch the following video.
I first found out I got cancer through a routine mammogram. It changed my life because I suddenly went into so many tests being done, so many doctor's visits, and it was overwhelming at times, to say the least. To go and have an MRI, the machines can be very intimidating. The technicians were fabulous at helping me relax and answering any questions I had. I was in shock for majority of the first week. I realized that if I'm going to beat this, I have to kind of gain some strength back and kind of knock some of the fear that I was feeling off of me and just try to find the strength to move forward.
The Grace Hospital Foundation was established in 1991 to help assure that patients at the Grace had access to the very best care possible. So we've spent these decades raising funds to help support patient care. The Envision Our Grace capital campaign is the latest important fundraiser that the foundation has embarked upon to help expand and redevelop our entire diagnostic imaging department. Currently, we've been designated as one of 3 acute care sites through the clinical consolidation that's occurred over the past few years, which means that our patient volumes have become dramatically higher. For example, in the emergency department, we'd see 25, 30,000. Now we're seeing in the average of 45,000 patients a year. So our diagnostic imaging capacity has to grow to support that new demand.
Diagnostic imaging is a frontline tool for referrers. So they rely on our imaging processes to help them diagnose and treat their patients, from the ED to the inpatients to cancer care journey patients and to outpatients.
Diagnostic imaging is provided as a tool for many diagnostic services for both diagnosis, treatment, and follow-up of certain conditions. And really in this day and age, we cannot do many of our medical and surgical procedures and assessments without proper diagnostic tools.
Diagnostic imaging is one of the elements upon which good treatment is based. So in order to be able to effectively help somebody get better, you have to know what's wrong with them. So imaging plays a pivotal role in that, and based on the imaging, the treatment regime is created.
Diagnostic imaging, when it first came to the Grace Hospital, was wet processing. It has evolved into 3rd generation technology since then, and it's digitized. And our new equipment at the Grace Hospital will make us a complete digitized environment.
A big part of obviously what we do is patient care, and foundations in general, all the money and the proceeds that go to them comes back directly to patient care, which is why I find it so important to donate, both at large and community here, because all those funds are coming back directly to impact patient care at the site, both inpatient and outpatient.
It's a relief to know that I'm with staff members that are making this so much easier for me to deal with.
Contributions to the Grace Hospital Foundation do have a tremendous impact on the quality of care that we provide. We work in concert with the senior administration of this facility and the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority to help build capacity and build the quality of care that we can provide. So the foundation plays an integral role in that, and everyone who donates to us is subsequently helping every patient who comes through our door every day, and that is in the thousands. So any gift, whether small or large, to Grace Hospital Foundation goes directly to assuring that patients here have the very best.
And I would remind you again, it's not too late to give. You can donate online at gracehospitalfoundation.ca. It is now time to acknowledge Bob Cunningham for his extraordinary life as a businessman and philanthropist. It is my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Janice Filman, Lieutenant Governor of the Province of Manitoba.
Friends, leaders in healthcare, and builders of a healthy province, supporters of the Grace Hospital Foundation, tonight we gather from the safety of our own homes to salute the community spirit of a great Manitoban. It is a pleasure to join you virtually from the traditional land of the Anishinaabe and the Métis, in a city and province enriched by a large and vibrant Indigenous community. The dedicated professionals at our hospitals and other healthcare centers are the first people we think about when our thoughts turn to building a healthy community. We also think of the infrastructure and technology that our frontline health workers use. We think, for example, of the ever-evolving imaging technology that is being supported by the proceeds of this virtual gala. But of course, a healthy society is the responsibility of us all, whether or not we spend our working lives in the healthcare sector. We all have choices to make that can make our city, province, and nation healthier. The Grace Hospital Foundation has made the choice to hold this gala virtually. You have made the choice to support the Grace Hospital Foundation. We all, though, can make choices every day to follow public health advice that has the potential to save lives. And this year's honoree, Bob Cunningham, has made the choice again and again for decades to support the Grace Hospital, Cancer Care Manitoba, and educational and cultural institutions. In our province, Bob, you've demonstrated your dedication to a better Manitoba for as long as I've known you. Your leadership and public service have made a real impact on this province and its people. I look forward to congratulating you in person when life returns to normal. This year, we have all been shown so clearly the importance of a well-equipped and well-supported healthcare sector. That's a task for all of us, Bob, and all of you who support the Grace Hospital. I hope you can feel the warmth of your fellow Manitobans' gratitude. May you feel close to friends, family, and community, even at this time. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
I would now also like to introduce the Honourable Scott Fielding, Minister of Finance for the Province of Manitoba.
Well, good evening. My name is Scott Fielding, and I'm the MLA for Kirkfield Park. I first want to thank the Grace Hospital Foundation for the invitation to bring greetings on behalf of the Province of Manitoba. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the Grace Hospital Foundation and its many members, the staff, the volunteers, the donors, and really for everything you do to support healthcare in our community, particularly in these unprecedented times to support individuals. I commend the Foundation's contributions to such outstanding efforts as they recently, of course, expanded and enhanced the Grace Hospital Emergency Department and MRI Suite. I applaud the Foundation's gracious annual funding to support including funding for the Grace Hospital medical equipment, its research grant for projects conducted on-site at the Grace Hospital, its financial contribution to special programs for the Grace Hospital, and its work with volunteers on compassionate programs such as the Book Cart Hospice, Tea, the Bird Feeders, Art for the Bedside, and music therapy programs that are really so important for the people that need these types of services. I'm pleased to join you this year to celebrate Bob Cunningham and congratulate him on being the second recipient of the annual Pearl McGonigal Award that really honors individuals or groups for outstanding contributions to the Grace Hospital and really our community as a large. Bob's achievements are many. He's been an active supporter, a donor, as well as volunteer at the Grace Hospital Foundation since its inception in 1990. In 2016, his vision led to perhaps the Grace Hospital Foundation's greatest achievement, and that's the creation of the Tomorrow's Grace Capital campaign, which has been so important over the years. He has also been on countless boards, foundations, charities, institutions here in Winnipeg for organizations like the Better Business Bureau, the Asper School of Business, the Health Science Centre Foundation, the YMCA, YWCA, and the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. He's been a champion of many important organizations in these causes, including Cancer Care Manitoba, the Upper Fort Garry Historical Park, University of Manitoba, and of course St. John's Ambulance. On behalf of my colleagues and myself in government, I really want to like to applaud Bob for really all his efforts and his achievements and congratulating him on being a worthy recipient of the Magnificent Award. I wish Bob all the health and happiness in the future years. In conclusion, I want to thank the Grace Hospital Foundation for the invitation to join you on behalf of the provincial government, and I commend you for the dedicated efforts the hospital does on each and every day with some of your leaders, the members, the staff, and the volunteers. I wish you all the very best for today and in the future, and on behalf of Premier Pallister and our government, have a great evening.
I would also like to introduce Scott Gillingham, City Councillor representing St. James and Brooklands.
Welcome to this virtual Grace Hospital Foundation event. It's my privilege to bring greetings to you today on behalf of Mayor Brian Bowman and my colleagues at Winnipeg City Council. The Grace Hospital, of course, is central to our St. James community and serves not only our community, but the city of Winnipeg and the province at large. I thank the Grace Hospital Foundation for the ongoing work that they do to make sure that our hospital has the resources it needs to continue to serve our communities. I also want to take a moment to congratulate Bob Cunningham on being the recipient this year of the Pearl McGonigal Award. Bob has a rich and deep history in the St. James community and has been just a fantastic member of our community, giving of his time and resources for many, many years. And so thank you again to all who are attending this virtual event, and I wish you a great evening. I also wish each one of you that's involved in the Grace Hospital Foundation ongoing success, and I want to thank you for your ongoing efforts to make our Grace Hospital the wonderful health center that it continues to be.
I would now like to invite the incomparable Danita Brochi, Vice Chair of the Foundation Board of Directors, to introduce Bob Cunningham.
How many organizations can one person serve in a community? When the answer to that question is combined with the person named Bob Cunningham, it becomes an extremely lengthy list and one that includes a valued contribution in each case. Tonight, I am truly honored to introduce him. Is there one word that describes Bob? Well, definitely not. But in getting to know him, I would offer up determined, tenacious, caring, passionate, committed, supportive, and successful as a start in relation to the many organizations and causes that have benefited from his personal contributions. He has been a long-time successful entrepreneur with both of his businesses, Cunningham Business Interiors Limited and Century Properties Inc. And even through those concerns, he has found ways to support the community while operating them. I met Bob casually on a number of occasions as our paths crossed working as volunteers, primarily in healthcare. However, I did not realize his incredible powers of persuasion until he asked me to lunch at Ray and Jerry's, and then would not let me leave until I agreed to join the board of directors at the Manitoba Club. While my husband waited in the car for quite a lengthy time, Bob shared his vision of the Manitoba Club, moving forward in gender balance and diversity, evolving as a club of community leaders. He was a catalyst for change and a driving force behind the capital campaign that allowed the club to become the vibrant and busy asset it is for our city today. I followed Bob as president of the Manitoba Club and had his full support for my term, as has every president since. That story is indicative of what Bob will do for an organization or a person he believes in. He goes the extra mile to ensure success, he brings other people to the cause, and he never quits in the middle of anything. I would not be able to estimate the number of people he has introduced to each other in his belief that they need to know each other. It has probably happened to all of us. One might say that he has a special skill when it comes to connecting people. As for his volunteer presence and contributions as well, they cover everything from sports to education, from healthcare to the arts, from industry associations to historical sites. His fundraising efforts have enabled the success of many campaigns and many charitable events. Ducks Unlimited, the Royal Aviation Museum of Western Canada, Health Sciences Centre Foundation, Cancer Care Manitoba, Chief Peguis Heritage Park, Knowles Centre, the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, St. John Ambulance, and Friends of Upper Fort Garry are among the many organizations where he's left his mark. Along with all of this, he has a passion for golf and snooker and loves both travel and time at the family cottage. But what about the Grace? Here too, he has made a significant contribution over a lengthy period of time. Bob has been a supporter of Grace Hospital Foundation since its inception in 1991, both philanthropically and as a volunteer. He's well known to our hospital and board of directors, and he is always available for support when we need him. Back in 2006, we called upon Bob to assist us in developing our Tomorrow's Grace capital campaign to help build the new emergency department and MRI building at the Grace. He agreed to sit on the campaign cabinet and sat down with the committee, outlining how we should organize, how we should manage the campaign. He created the blueprint for us, and that blueprint assured that we would raise $6 million in less than a year. To this day, the Tomorrow's Grace capital campaign is Grace Hospital Foundation's greatest singular fundraising achievement. And thank you for that, Bob. And it is a family affair with the Cunninghams. Bob's son Rob served on our board of directors for 10 years, from 2003 to 2013. In that capacity, Rob rose through the ranks to become a member of the executive committee and was also the long-term chair of the finance committee. During Rob's tenure, we built the Grace Hospice and Access Winnipeg West, major achievements of which Rob was an integral part. It is hard to put into words what Bob means to our foundation. When we need support, he is there. When we need advice, he is there. True to fashion, as the honoree of this year's Grace Gala, Bob has spent endless time and energy in support of raising money for the Gala so that it is the success that we need it to be, to greatly enhance patient care with a new diagnostic imaging department. It is most fitting that Bob Cunningham be the first recipient of the Pearl McGonigal Award since it was presented to Pearl herself last year. Bob and Pearl have known each other for more than 50 years. They've worked on many important projects together, some at the Grace and others elsewhere. They are true friends, and no doubt they will be seen enjoying each other's company at the new Pearl Cafe at Grace Hospital. Bob and his wife Irene are people we can all salute for the love and devotion they have for their family, the value they give us as friends, and the contributions they make to the city and province they call home. Even though Bob's hometown of Clandeboye holds a special place in his heart. Bob has received a Citizen of the Year Award, an Emeritus Director position, and a Canada 150 Service Medal. And tonight, we look back over Bob's many accomplishments as a community supporter and his ongoing link with Grace Hospital to say a huge thank you. It is my distinct privilege to formally congratulate Bob as the 2020 recipient of the Pearl McGonigal Award.
Now, the moment you have been waiting for. It is my pleasure and honor to welcome Bob Cunningham, the 2020 recipient of the Pearl McGonigal Award for a Lifetime of Achievement, to say a few words to all of us.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. You have been so kind, including your visit in mid-September 2019, when you first broke the news that I would be this year's recipient of the Pearl McGonigal Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grace Hospital. Truly an honor. Jeff, your leadership as chair of the Grace Hospital Foundation does not go unnoticed. Donita, Jeff could not have said it better. Our incomparable Donita Brochi, thank you for your generous, personal, and emotional words of introduction. We have had the pleasure of working together on several community projects over the years. Two that come to mind are Bears on Broadway and several years on the Board of Governors at the Manitoba Club. I was proud to introduce you as the First Lady on that board, and I am proud to have you introduce me this evening. You are a true leader and special friend. The Grace Hospital Foundation is blessed to have you on their team. I will begin by thanking Her Honor and His Honor, Janice and Gary Philman. Your Honor, thank you for taking time from your busy schedule to bring greetings and for your personal remarks. It means a great deal to me, to Irene, and to our family. We are so fortunate to have you as our Lieutenant Governor in Manitoba. Several years ago, I had the pleasure supporting you honoring that wonderful lady, Nellie McClung, and your friend and your tireless efforts as chair of Cancer Care Manitoba, and most recently with his honor on the founding board of the Friends of Upper Fort Garry. Working together for a better world, that's what we do. Thank you, and please stay safe. Rob Cunningham, my son and business partner, I have had the pleasure working with you since the mid-'80s. Thank you for representing our family and for your kind words to your dad. Thank you for taking part in this virtual gala. There has been a lot said about Bob Cunningham this evening. People expressing how we met, how we worked together, words of thanks. It has been quite emotional for me, for sure. The friends on the video chosen by the Grace have been so kind. I think of how many times we have worked together on boards, committees, and capital campaigns. Dr. Tanis Richardson, Dr. Jerry Gray, Deborah Thorlickson, my adopted niece, Maggie Lee, Her Honor Susan Thompson, former mayor of the city of Winnipeg, Jim Bell from Siloam Mission, Brent Fowler of St. John Ambulance, Jeff Coleman, and the Honorable Pearl McGonigal. It takes a great deal of time, and personal time that is, and preparation for a video. Thank you for taking that time for your tribute to me. You're indeed special friends. I want to extend thanks to Finance Minister Scott Fielding, representing the Premier and his colleagues at the province of Manitoba, and Scott Gillingham, representing the Mayor and his colleagues at City Hall. Thank you. I really appreciate your support. Receiving an award for something that you do willingly in the community is a humbling experience. We always feel it should happen to someone else. However, tonight I am being honored. But I cannot receive this award alone. I must include my family. I would like to thank my wife, Irene, for allowing me to follow my dream and for being at my side throughout the journey. My children, Rob and Bonnie, for giving up many hours of Dad's time while he was building a business and volunteering in the community. And later, Rob's wife, Jean, and Bonnie's late husband, Lysander, and our grandchildren, Tyler and Rihanna. Thank you for everything you have done to place me in this position tonight. If I had a wish, it would be that the COVID-19 pandemic would quietly disappear and that we could all gather in the same room to exchange hugs and say thank you for your support to me, my family, and the Grace Hospital. But it's not to be. Therefore, my second wish is that you continue to support the Grace Hospital, and especially at this critical time. Let's come together once more. Please remember that no gift is too small. In closing, I want to thank Bruce Lilly, Emho, Bigan, and their team for their efforts to try and stage this Grace Gala. They deserve credit for their tireless work. I would also like to thank Jon Enerson, Executive Director of the Grace Hospital Foundation, and his team of Leah, Tara, and Vanessa for their kindness and support this past year. And let's not forget my assistant, Ashley, for all her work behind the scenes. On July the 7th, 1957, my father took me aside and said that I had to go to the city and get a job and send some money home to help raise my brothers and sisters. I suggested that I would go in September, but he said, "No, son, tomorrow morning. I had great respect for my father and honored his direction. The next morning, his advice was to apply for a job with a farm equipment company, and if successful, stay there. He gave me $5 and suggested I spend my money wisely. He said, be kind to people, and when your time comes, to make sure that I left this world a better place than I found it. I hope in some small way I have honored his wishes. Once again, I thank everyone for their kindness and the Grace Hospital for this award. Merci, miigwech. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. You are so deserving of this award. Words cannot express enough what you mean to us at the Grace Hospital. As I mentioned earlier, within your virtual Gala package, you'll find a postage-paid envelope and slip you can fill out to send a note of congratulations to Bob. I would urge you to do so. Our evening is drawing to a close. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Kelly O'Rourke and the entire senior management team at Grace Hospital for their leadership always, but especially through the past months of the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you also to each and every staff person at the Grace Hospital for their tireless dedication to the patients that they serve. To the Grace Hospital Foundation Board of Directors, the finest in the city, for their tireless dedication to the patients at the Grace, but most of all, I would like to thank each of you out there watching us tonight. You are our friends, our donors, our community. Nothing we do would be possible without you. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. For those of you who have purchased tickets for the Grace Gala 50/50 draw, the draw will occur at 8:55 p.m. The winner's name and ticket number will be posted on the Foundation website at 9 o'clock. Thank you all for joining us. Be safe, be well, wash your hands, and wear your masks. Thanks again for being here.